Alrighty, ladies and germs, are you ready for one of the most scenic hikes in all of the Gunks? Today we're hiking the Gertrude'S Millbrook Mountain Loop, an 8-mile round-trip trek chock full of natural beauty. I've personally done this hike many times, and I gotta tell you, the more time I spend with old Trudy, the more I fall in love with her beauty. Now that I've tempted you poetically, allow me to give you the lowdown. This hike is located within Minnewaska State Park Preserve in the Shawangunks outside of New Paltz, New York. There is a per-vehicle entry fee, currently $10, upon arriving to the park. Since this particular hike begins from the upper parking areas versus the lower lot, make sure to arrive early to get a good spot. After parking, you'll begin your hike along one of the park's sky lakes, Lake Minnewaska, by following the red Lake Minnewaska carriage road. First hang right, then hang left to continue on this red blazed road for about 0.8 miles till you connect with the yellow Millbrook Mountain carriage road. By the way, if you get confuzzled, keep an eye out for all of the helpful signage around the park to point you in the right direction. When the yellow path splits, hang left to stay on the Millbrook Mountain carriage road. After marching for half a mile, a striking silhouette will come into view. Behold the always majestic yet precariously perched Patterson's Pellet, a glacial erratic left behind by a melting glacier 10 to 12,000 years ago during the last ice age. Feel free to ogle this beauty for some time whilst also appreciating the Palmagate ravine plunging just past it. Shortly after Patterson's Pet Rock, keep an eye out for the red Gertrude'S footpath to the right that enters the evergreen-rich woods. Side note, the delightfully piney quality of this hike is one of the many reasons it tickles me so. No matter the season, there's always plenty of green to boost your mood. Speaking of mood boosters, check out this glorious view found just moments into the red trail. So onward you go along the red trail through brambly brush and gnarly pines till you reach a steep section of rock that takes a bit of careful footwork. Feel free to take your sweet time on this section, but for our intents and purposes, let's speed this up. There we go! After navigating this rock pile, you'll stroll through another wooded section, pass over a stream underneath a power line, and then emerge onto the ridgeline you've been waiting for. This section of the Gertrude'S Trail is where it's at, my friends. Take your time to navigate this area and appreciate its many nooks and crannies. Just don't fall into said nooks and crannies. The trail will take you past more beguiling glacial erratics and over spines of rock before tiptoeing you toward cliffs that plummet hundreds of feet to the ravine below. This section is certainly not for those fearful of heights. Now it's time for everyone's favorite photo op. While this rock shelf may resemble a nose, this protuberance does not actually belong to Gertrude. It is merely one of the many overhanging ledges found along this ridgeline. It just happens to be the most dramatic. In fact, once you continue past this ledge, you'll discover a series of ledges to perch upon. Ledges for days, if you will. As you continue following the red trail, take your time to explore the many different fissures, crags, and views available to you. There's nothing wrong with taking time to enjoy the bountiful fruits of nature, I always say. After taking in this marvelous section of trail, you'll ultimately reach the southern tip of the ridge, aka the real Gertrude'S. While the views here aren't as dramatic as before, it's a nice spot for a lunch break and offers an enjoyable panorama of the Wallkill Valley below. Now, many times when I've hiked to Gertrude'S, I've simply returned the way I came, which honestly is a fine way to spend the day. On this day, however, we chose to connect to the Millbrook Mountain Trail to make it a complete loop. To do this, you'll simply continue on the red trail from Gertrude'S, which climbs gradually, then steeply, up to a section of open bedrock peppered with pitch pines. From here, you'll soon see the Millbrook Mountain carriage road appear parallel to the footpath as you make your way to Millbrook Mountain summit. We usually don't idle here long since it is a popular spot for groups, but feel free to take a moment to soak up the sights of Skytop Tower and nearby Mohonk Preserve and the expanse of the Hudson Valley below. From here, look out for signs pointing you left toward Lake Minnewaska and the red-blazed Millbrook Mountain Trail. The Millbrook Mountain Trail will lead you down rather quickly from Millbrook Mountain to the Coxing Kill, and then force you to regain all of the height you just lost as you climb back up to Lake Minnewaska. Keep an eye out for one last view of Skytop as the trail climbs. After what seems like a little too much climbing, you'll reach Lake Minnewaska where you can follow the red Lake Minnewaska carriage road counterclockwise back to the parking lot where you began. I hope you enjoyed this hike to Gertrude'S and Millbrook Mountain in the Gunks. Until next time, happy trails!